Hey, what's up, guys? I am live. It's been a while. Hopefully, we can get a few guys in here. I know it's been so long since I've gone live. People may not even be used to it. Don't even want to. They don't want to talk to me anymore. So, so I'm gonna give this chat room. Oh, we already got like 7 people. That's cool. Give everybody a few minutes or moments to get inside the room. Hello. I got hi from some type of Asian language. I think that's I don't know if that's Japanese or Chinese. I don't know. I don't know my languages very good. I'm doing quite well. And then some other guys, Zayden 2000, Archer Girl 1865. So cool. That's cool. I would love for you to train with me, but I know it's hard. We probably live far apart. Anyway, I've been really good, guys. All right, we got 13 people. This is time to start talking. So, oh, from Japan, Tokyo. Very nice. Underhook escape counters, Brian. We need it. Yeah. Underhook escape counters. So let me start with what do you mean, guys? Please, like, also, if you can, with the comment section, try not to comment like too much because then I get lost and then I can't like get to people's questions. I'll try to get to questions one at a time. Um, Underhook escape counters. Brian, we need it. What type of underhook are you talking about? Or underhook escape? Are you talking about on your feet, on the mat, if you're on the bottom, on the top, standing? What do you mean? So let me look for Ertugrul to respond. Come on, man. Turkish. Mr. Turkish Ertugrul. Side control escape, underhook escape. Okay. So from the bottom, using the underhook, yeah, I can do that. That's pretty common. It's pretty basic. A lot of people like to use that, especially when you start grappling. I recommend you learning the underhook game quite a bit. I love to go into what I call the wedding sweep, and I usually like to use the underhook to get to it. I kind of have a different way than most people. So you can watch the wedding sweep video series for kind of how I use my underhook and how I get to an advantage. But I'll try to do some videos. I'll keep that in the mind. So, okay, let me go. Man, I just got to jump in and say your videos have changed my grappling game. Have a lot of respect for you, bud. Thank you. Conversation skill. So, Panic Jiu-Jitsu, hello. Jose Manalo from the Philippines. What's up, brother? So, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for all your support. Guys, I get it a lot and I really, really appreciate it. I'll admit, like, sometimes I get so much like good like response that it's like, you know what I mean? Like when one person tells you you're doing good, you're gonna remember them. When two people tell you, you're gonna remember them. But I get so much love from you guys that after a while, I'm like, what else can I say? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm great. I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I'm saying like what I mean is I get so much love that I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? It's like people just keep telling me, "Oh, it's great. It's great. It's great." And I'm like, "Cool. I want you guys to know I appreciate you." So, thank you so much. I really really appreciate you guys. All right. Can you teach me any self-defense skill on this YouTube? Yes, I can teach some self-defense, guys. I know I'm some of my grappling, in fact, a lot of my grappling is not necessarily geared towards self-defense. I think it does help and it's still good for self-defense, but it's a lot of it's too advanced for self-defense. And self-defense is usually more simple because out on the street you're going to be facing somebody who doesn't know that much. And you're not going to be doing these complicated variations on how to finish someone. So, and that's something that I do quite a bit on my channel because I've always felt like that's something that I can offer that isn't already on the table. If you go through YouTube, there's still a lot of stuff out there, and I will teach basics, but I feel like a lot of the basics are out there, and I feel like the best thing that I can offer is trying to help people get through some of the more complicated shit. So anyway, can a person that weighs less take down a heavier person? Yes, definitely. Guys, every time you're learning takedowns, let me go into this. Is great. It brings up a subject that I love to talk about. So guys, please like hold the comments for just a little bit. Um, People, I get this a lot. Okay, people say they talk about how jujitsu is great because insert Hoist Gracie's name. A smaller man can defeat a bigger man. Boom, jujitsu, and they've all seen it at practice. The small little 140 pounder, or even less than that, will submit some 200-pound man, and everybody will go, "Wow, technique wins." It really shows in jiu-jitsu. And I cannot help it but look at that and go, yeah, that's true. Like, it's not wrong, but how is that any different than any other discipline? And let's bring up wrestling, for example. Some people say, oh, wrestling's more strength or something like that. And it's so not true. Guys, I have high school kids that are 140 pounds. And if you take a 200-pound guy, try to take down my 140-pound kid and see what happens. I have 140-pound kids that will take down grown men, and without much trouble either. And even if they get taken down by a 200-pound guy plus, they will scramble and get away and eventually get on top, and they'll wear out that 200-pounder. So I find it like funny or interesting. It really depends on your personal experience. If you are a boxer and you practice boxing, what would happen if a 140-pound champion, Floyd Mayweather, I know he's a little bit bigger than that now, but he was there at one time. If Floyd Mayweather was boxing with a guy who's 200 pounds plus, he would destroy him. Now, we're not talking about world champion versus world champion. Just like in jiu-jitsu, you take world champion 200-pound plus, put him with world champion 140-pounder, the 140-pounder is going to get crushed most of the time. Now, because of the nature of the sport, maybe a 140-pounder can like survive with his guard or whatever, but that's the nature of the sport, that the rules they lay out. If it's a fight, he's going to get pounded most of the time. Now, you'll have the occasional, good scramble by the smaller man, and boom, you get a Lachlan Giles pulling out a heel hook and he defeats the bigger man. But that's the same as, again, Oscar De La Hoya, boxing a heavyweight fighter and then catching him with a really good shot. And then it could happen, but it's usually not going to happen. So anyway, enough said. Now, we can always argue. People can argue over one is easier in certain sports, certain games. But honestly, all I believe, guys, if you're good at one of those combat sport disciplines, if you're really good, you can defeat bigger people with technique. So when someone says, can you teach me how to take a heavier person down? Can a smaller person take a heavier? Of course you can. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to defeat the heavyweight. You're not going to take on Sajalayev of Russia and take him down. I'm sorry. You're smaller than him. You're probably not taking him down if you're his size or bigger, because he's best in the world at heavyweight or one of the upper weight classes. But you definitely can take down big people, guys, with good technique. And all of my videos that I show takedowns, guys, I've performed those takedowns against bigger people. Okay. I'm not saying 250 pounders, but I am saying, and I can take down a 250 pounder, but I'm saying you can do it to a bigger person. Enough said. So hope that helps. Anyway, Coach, what do you think about the mouse trap from Side Control video? Like giving the opponent an arm triangle and then mouse trapping him. Shoot. I don't know what you mean. I have not referenced that. I've heard the mousetrap name um, for a different technique. Wait, hold on. What do you think about the mousetrap from side control? Like giving the opponent an arm triangle. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. You're talking about that funky white belt technique. Am I right? Where the flexible white belt kind of rubber guards and he chokes the guy. Let me see. Let me see if Bert, are you still there? Bert Della Speed. Is that the one you're talking about? Bert, calling for Bert. Yes. Okay. So yes, I have seen that technique, guys. This is one of those things. Okay, first of all, I'm not that flexible. I don't use that move. I have experimented with it. When it first came out, I can't remember how many years back. Maybe 10 years ago. I'm trying to remember the first time I ever saw something like it was like probably 10 years ago. We were going over it, my friend, myself, and like a couple other black belts. We didn't like it, but I have to respect it. It's one of those things where if a guy's really flexible, and I think I'm not 100% sure, did Marcelo Garcia get caught in that technique, or was that a different technique? I think Marcelo got tapped in a roll with something like that. So it's obviously legit, guys, but it takes a certain body type, and you kind of have to. If it's your cup of tea, then get after it, man. Try it and go for it. If you feel like it's real difficult for you to apply the force, I mean, obviously you need to go to some guys. I'm not going to claim that I know much about it other than I had people try to put it on me. I've had flexible guys try to do it and they weren't able to tap me, but they aren't masters of the technique. And I do recognize that. The other part of it is, and again, this is not to knock the technique because I think I just mentioned, I think Marcelo Garcia got caught in it by a really good guy. So, but when you're good, if I'm here and if another person is right here with me and they apply this technique, maybe I'm slightly better and I can avoid the submission, but they can catch almost everyone else that's below. They catch everybody, but just me, I kind of like squeak out because I kind of got that little extra understanding of how to hide and everything's like that, guys. Triangle chokes. There's so many like submissions like that where it's like, man, how come I couldn't? I've had people say, how come I can't rear naked choke you? And everybody's like, it's just like a black belt Jedi mind trick that black belts do to people, like almost like give their neck and then the guy still can't choke. And I'm not saying I can't be choked. Of course I can. If a guy's good and he's got the position, I'm done. If the technique is proper, but sometimes I can avoid stuff like that. So I've been able to avoid that move, but I'll admit it wasn't by somebody who's a master of the move. So it doesn't really mean anything. I think the move is a decent move if your body's fit for it. So try to use it. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling on that move and I don't even know anything much about it other than I know it's like an arm triangle and they trap you while you're on top side control. So if you guys haven't seen that, I think they're calling it the mouse trap. So, all right. Problem with underhook escape for most people is they get spun on back taken. With the underhook escape, they get their back taken. Oh, I know what you mean. Okay, so panic jujitsu. The problem with the underhook escape, I know what he means. He means that when you guys are on the bottom and you lift the underhook, a lot of guys, you're trying to get up, they do what I call the side switch. So they step around the head and spin towards your back. So when you turn on your side, you're actually exposing your back as they round your head, and it leads to a gift wrap or a seatbelt and then a back take to follow. Yeah, it becomes a problem. The underhook can also get beat up by your DARS. It can get beat up by an omoplata, a triangle. There's lots of attacks versus the underhook that kind of equalize the position. In the old days, we used to say underhook is king, underhook wins, but nowadays there's lots of good options versus the underhook. So that's a good point by Panic. Anyway, Corey, any advice on getting better at my Peterson? Okay, that sounds like wrestling, guys. So if I assume you're talking about the Peterson for wrestling with the pin, I don't know what you're doing wrong with your Peterson. If you're talking about getting into the position, or if you're talking about how to lock it up better, or how to put a guy on his back, or how to regain control when you start to lose control. The Peterson loses control. You lose control quite a bit. It's usually a transitional position. It's nice when you lock it up tight, but usually you hit it and you transition for the reversal. The majority of the time at high levels. So anyway, thank you guys so much again. More people like, just kind of giving me some props. So thank you. Love your channel. Ghost Escape is legit. Humper Goat says yes for sure. Night before a tournament, what do you recommend listening to or doing in preparation for the task ahead? Guys, again, everyone's different. You're going to need to develop a routine. I'm very familiar with competitions. Myself, I've competed a lot and I've coached athletes for a very, very long time. It's an individual thing. The night before a tournament, always, 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 I want you guys to get rest. I don't want you to think too much about it. I try not to think about it. The best way I approach competition, guys, in my opinion, this is my opinion, I like to think of competitions as fun. And I like to preach fun. And tournaments are not something that you should sweat over. It's not something that you should get too nervous. I know this is easier said than done for a lot of people. They struggle with this a lot. It's a big problem. And I do a lot of this mental training with my athletes. But I'm telling you right now, the same thing I tell my athletes. I go, guys, it's not a big deal. Look, we're all going to die someday. Okay. Are you worried about dying? No, you're probably not. Okay. You probably don't think about dying. So why should you worry about a tournament? Because someday death comes to us all. We're going to struggle someday in the future. We're all going to get sick. We're all going to have loved ones pass away. We're going to have rough times. They're coming. They come for us all. One thing's for sure, worrying never helped anybody. So don't worry about any of that stuff. You got a tournament the next day? I don't even think about it. I try to forget about it. Go do something else. Go have fun. Go watch a movie. Go get on Netflix. Enjoy yourself. Get some rest. Eat good food. Of course, normal stuff that you should do. You shouldn't go and gorge on some donuts or eat a big, 2 extra large pizzas. Eat some good food, get some rest. But besides that, don't even think about it. Have fun. Do normal stuff. I'm not into people who like, I need to get in a zone. I need to get in a zone. I'm like, what are you talking about? You want to get in the zone for a competition? Don't think about the competition. I don't think about it. I don't worry about it. I try to it's not a big deal. And then when it finally comes and it's there staring you in the eyes, just smile. Smile and have some fun and enjoy it. Your training that you did will come out. Whatever you did in preparation will come out. Worrying will only hurt you. Worrying, I want to say never. This has never helped anybody. You could say sometimes people worry and somehow it triggers something in the brain, but guys, most of the time you don't need that stuff. It's a very important subject, how to prepare for competitions. And again, you got to make it another day at the office. It's got to be another day at the office when you compete. And so really, I don't think about when I go to work or when you guys have these simple tasks, I don't think about brushing my teeth or tying my shoes. I don't worry about it because it's just something I do every day. And that's how competition needs to be. You just need to make it enjoyable. You got to make it fun and just get after it. And I know when people ask these questions, what do you do to prepare? I already know they got something in their mind and they're nervous. You've already lost in some sense. So as you learn to deal with these issues, with the adrenaline flow, with all those nerves, the butterflies, you got to just learn. Look, you're going to die someday. It's going to get bad at some point. It's going to get bad. And you know what else? Every single rainy day, it ends. And eventually there's sunshine. So when you have that competition, just get out there and try to have fun. And if you're in the shit, if you're in a snowstorm, Just fight your way out of it, man. Do the best you can. And then when it's over, it's over. Go back and work on your mistakes, and that's it. Have some fun. It's as simple as that. It really is. But I think people make too much out of it. And when you make too much out of it, you don't perform at your best. And then when you don't perform at your best, you get upset more and it bothers you more. Get rid of it. Drop it. A lot of times you could just drop your problem. So it may not be easy, but do it. I'm telling you to. All right. Started grappling late. Is it okay? I'm 23. Yes, it's fine. You gotta start sometime. There are people that start jujitsu at 50 and they still end up being great, So no, you aren't too late. It is what it is. You can't go back. It's a chess game and you're in a position. You got to move from here and you must learn that. All right. So thank you guys. So how do you escape full mount from a big guy? Elbows in, bump, get on your side. You got to get on your side. I know he's going to go for your back. He's going to try to prepare for armbar. Keep your elbows glued into your side. Don't expose your limbs. Don't let him get up into a high mount position. Keep him down low on your hips. So when you bump and you upa or bridge your hips, it actually has some effect. I know he's a big boy. The little guys are best at getting on our side and being squirrely, keeping our elbows in and creating spaces to recover a guard. So looks like I got a quick text. Let me see, make sure it's not anything super important. Oh, looks like John from the channel wants to play a little PUBG right now, but I'll have to play with him in a little bit. So after I get done with you guys. Anyway, before I go to bed. How do you escape side control? How do you side control escape to DARS? That sounds like mostly the Ghost Escape. You can reference the Ghost Escape Zaiden 2000. Have you thought about making, or do you have full training program from, say, complete beginner to seasoned vet? Badman asks. No, I do not. A lot of people ask me a lot of questions about like more training or like selling video series, stuff like that, guys. My life is busy enough, and I have a lot of things that I do. So, including this right now, I'm doing this right now. I just love to give you guys one of these lives every once in a while, especially when I don't make a video for you, which means tonight I didn't make a video for you. So that's also why I'm doing this. I would love to do more, but it's really hard to do more when you only have 24 hours in a day. And I'm trying to keep my sanity of doing what I already do. And I'm doing other things. I barbecue. I started like a little mini barbecue business. So where I love to cook. And so I'm selling that barbecue. I'm working on another idea. So I have other stuff I'm doing as well. And it keeps me very, very busy. So I'm sorry that I just do my videos. Again, a lot of people want me to like come up with video series and sell them. And I'm like, no, I'll just give it away for free. If someone wants to contribute, they can always contribute to my channel. So it's up to you guys on an individual basis. Thank you guys so much that do. So how well do you think Yanni D would do if he walked into a Nogi Jiu-Jitsu school? You know what? Yanni is incredible. He would do great as far as like, I'm sure he would learn really quick. If you're asking me what he would do on his first day, he would probably smoke all the white and blue belts and probably get tapped by purple belt and up, depending on the size. Maybe not if he was the same size, but once you have a guy who's a purple belt and up versus a wrestler, unless Yanni's done jiu-jitsu before, which I don't know. I assume he's just a wrestler, but even with his wrestling, he'll get caught, as long as he hits, a fairly good purple, brown, or black belt, he should get caught. But a guy like that, it won't take him long. It won't take him long. So even a week or two, and that guy's going to be all you can handle, even for a black belt. So if you're teaching him right. So guard retention besides Granby's. Most get crushed when trying Granby's. Yeah, so that's really important. Panic mentions. Yeah, Granby's, like rolling up on the shoulders, you get smashed, especially if you have a really big guy. And if you're not the most flexible, it's really rough on the body. I don't use Granby's that much anymore, guys. The older I get, I'm not Granbying that much. Again, maybe I could stretch more, for sure I could, but I don't prefer to do it that way. You know what has changed in my style as I've gotten older is that guard retention is really, really important. However, as I've gotten older, my guard retention has gone down. As flexibility goes down, my guard retention skills have gone down. I was much better when I was younger, but what I have developed instead personally, and I'm not saying this is the best thing in the world, but I like that I have learned more about jujitsu and grappling by doing it this way. When someone's really good at passing my guard, I don't know if you guys have ever watched Henner and Hiron Gracie. Like when they've competed, sometimes they'll allow someone to pass because they're so confident in their defense. Sometimes if someone works really hard for the guard pass, sometimes I'll just let them pass. And as I let somebody pass, what I do is I position myself well in bottom side control so that I can play from there and not waste energy. Sometimes trying to keep your guard requires more energy than just letting the guy pass. And when I say let him pass, I do not mean let him obliterate you with a shoulder in your face and like drown you with knee on belly and mount you and take your back. I'm saying, you pass my guard, you get a little bit of side control. I'll keep elbows in, I'll keep good position, I'll conserve my energy, I'll let you work for something, and I'll exploit your weakness. When you give me a moment, I'll recover guard back and get back on the offense as soon as possible. Again, it could be risky with a really good guy. However, it's also not a big energy waster, which when you're fighting for points in a points kind of setting and you don't want to give up the 3 points for the guard pass, it can really, pressure passing can really destroy you. If you just let the guy kind of go, kind of like Hiron and Galval, if you guys ever saw that Metamoris match, he just let Galval pass, and then Galval couldn't really get a submission. And as the match wore on, Galval actually got a little bit tired, and then Hiron started to come for him. I do believe that was a 20-minute match, and at that point, it wasn't like, of course, Galval dominated the position in the beginning, but towards the end, Hiron was like, "Hey, bro, you got nothing. You can't submit me, and now I'm coming." And I'm not saying he like came back and beat him or anything, but it's another way of playing. So definitely not good for points tournaments, but it can work. So is the gym still open? Kazum Pet. Maybe I should plead the fifth on that one. So anyway, I want to be your student. How can I be your student? Buaya Kantor asks, well, if you watch my videos, I guess you're kind of like a student. If you don't live near me, I mean, I don't see another way, you know, to meet me in person. Otherwise, if maybe your school, wherever you guys are located, if you guys want to host me for a seminar, that's always possible. I don't do a lot of seminars, but occasionally I do. So if anybody wants me out there, I know I do have quite a bit of people from around the world that kind of recognize me at this point because of my YouTube channel. If you guys want me to come out, I would love to. It's fun to travel. I've already traveled the world a lot through MMA and Jiu-Jitsu, but it's great to do more. So if anybody wants me out there, I'm open to it. That'd be great. Is judo still relevant in your opinion? Of course, yes, 100%. Judo is definitely still relevant. I don't use it nearly as much as I use wrestling, but there's a lot you can learn from judo. 100%, guys. So I'm not against judo. I think it's great. How do I build my submission and takedown strength? Well, I mean, it's complicated. A lot of it's technique. You got to build up your technique in order to get a takedown or submission. You got to have good technique. It's not just all strength. But if you're speaking of your body, I like body weight exercises um, combined with Olympic lifting. That's my favorite. Pull-ups, push-ups, squats. Bam, got you right there. Plyometrics, jumping, things like that. Um, and then when it comes to popping your hips and being able to lift, doing the Olympic lifts, learning a simple clean, a simple push press or push jerk to get something overhead is outstanding. More important than that is the clean. Learning how to clean weight, which means taking a bar or any type of object from the floor and or at least mid shin, and then getting it up into this racked position is huge. It will help you with finishing takedowns like double legs, popping your hips to get someone up in the air. I would use Olympic lifting. Do you have to use heavy weight? No. Olympic lifting has nothing to do with heavy weight, although in the Olympics they are lifting very heavy. The point is learning the proper technique, have somebody show you how to do an Olympic lift so that you can pop your hips basically and explode and get underneath a bar and use your legs and use your low back and use your whole body, really, every bit of it to get something from the floor all the way up. And that will do wonders for building your takedown strength. Again, pull-ups, push-ups, squats, plyometric jumps. There's obviously core exercises. It's all great, you know. So back bridging, got to do some back bridging. Anyway, all really good stuff. Can you do solo BJJ drills and wrestling solo drills and break it down? Yes, I can. You know what? That'd be a good one. Fubar. I'll try to do that. So, grappling. How I missed it. Yeah, it's tough during this time, guys. We got so many issues, you know, with COVID, and it's just taking people away. So oh my gosh, there's so many questions now. I lost my place. All right, let me see. How did Rickson Gracie overcome the issue of size and manhandled everybody, including Dave Camarillo and Shanji Hibario and Salo? They say he triangled black belts with no arms. Are those stories real? Varun asks. Okay. Guys, was I there? No, I wasn't there. Have I heard the stories? Yes, I've heard the stories. What do I think? I think Rickson was exceptionally good. I think he's exceptionally good for his day. First of all, Rickson Gracie is not a little guy. Okay. So he is not Royler Gracie. He is not a 160 pounder. Okay. He's a decent sized man. Once you reach the weight of 185, you are decently big. And if you are good at jujitsu, you can overcome a lot if you are good. So again, I may hurt some people's feelings with what I'm saying, but guys, all I'm saying is, look, I'm like 150 pounds. If you gave me 35 pounds of weight, whether it be just give me a little more height, you know, and a little more muscle and frame and build me up to 185, 190-ish. And guys, I'm not saying I'd kill everyone. That's not what I'm saying. But anybody who thinks I'm decent at jiu-jitsu, like I would appear twice or three times as good if I was that big. Guys, and then I don't even want to get on the subject of me. Guys, if Rafa Mendes was 185 pounds, he would be a god of grappling. He already is at his weight class. If he was 185, 190, dude, everybody needs to worry if he was that big. You know, Gordon Ryan, if you had Rafa Mendes at 190, Gordon Ryan would be in trouble. I'm sorry if you guys love Gordon Ryan. I love him too, but he would be in trouble. So, anyway. So getting back to Rickson Gracie, he's really good. and he's not that small. So he can already, you can, if you're really good, you can beat a lot of big guys. There's the bigger guys out there, and I know you mentioned some really good guys, but Dave Camarillo is not that big, and Shanji's pretty big, Salo's pretty big, but he's not. They're not that much bigger um, than Hickson, and I know Shanji's probably the bigger, but of those two, but you know it's different times too. Sometimes you take the guy who's like wise, he's in his prime and he's very wise, and some people say, well, he was past his prime, but he still wasn't over the hill yet. And then you got a young guy coming up, and that happens a lot, guys. That happens a lot. But when you get prime versus prime, it's kind of like trying to pick different matchups, when people used to say, "Oh, Muhammad Ali versus Mike Tyson" or something like that. The only real way to do it is to like transport them in a time machine and get them at their best at the prime. And it's not always good to take them at different times when a guy's so young coming up. He may lose, but a few years go by and then he can win. It's like, what if Matt Hughes and St. Pierre only fought the first time? Everybody would say, well, Matt Hughes is better. But you guys all know how that turned out. And, it seemed like St. Pierre could just pretty much beat him with ease, after that first fight. So, especially I believe I believe they fought 3 times. I think the second time he beat him, it was even easier if I remember correctly. So anyway, the stories of Hickson triangling black belts with no arms, I think that's exaggerated. Now, granted, I'm not saying that he couldn't do it at all, but when they say with no arms, that I heard the story in the 90s that he did that with like karate black belts. I never heard of him beating. Now, I could be wrong. Maybe that's the story too. Other high level jujitsu black belts with no arms. I don't believe that. The story of the no arms, I believe, is karate black belts like one in my town. The story is that Hickson put his arms inside of his belt, and he had some karate guys try to take him down, then he triangled him. So I think it's a little bit of both. He's really good, combined with a little bit of tall tales, a little bit of folklore, and then you end up with this. So of course I think he's good, but when I watch Hickson in his old MMA fights, obviously it's not right to judge someone in the past by today's standards and think like, well, he's no good. Like, remember, he's competing in that time. If you look at anybody from the 90s with today's eyes, of course, they all look like they have weaknesses. Even if you look at the best guys, they have weaknesses. The best guys of today would beat those guys, no problem. No problem. Hickson would lose to today's best guys. But it's not fair. Remember, the guys are the really good today because of Hickson. Without Hickson, we wouldn't have everything we have. Without Hickson, without the Gracies, I wouldn't be here. So, and I'm not, not like trying to say I'm like really good or anything, but what I mean is like just we owe those guys. So everybody else is standing on their shoulders. So anyway, hope I said a few things on that subject that could help or enlighten. So what are your thoughts on cutting weight for BJJ tournaments? I'm a steady 165. Should I drop the 10 pounds? I'm 6 feet. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. You should only lose weight if you think that it's going to really improve you. I would not lose weight and just suck your weight down and get weak, especially for jiu-jitsu tournaments where you have to weigh in the same day, oftentimes 5 to 15 minutes right before your match. I don't think that's wise to lose 10 pounds like that. I would only lose weight if you think it's going to benefit you. If you can lose fat, lose weight properly, that is going to help you, then hey, with a better diet, more exercise, do it. But don't suck your weight down just so that you can stand on a scale, so that 5 to 10 minutes later you can get out on a mat and then try to fight your heart out for a matter of 5 to 10 minutes, and then lose because you're not at your peak performance. I would much rather go up the weight class and be full of energy personally. So, what do you think about Usman and Gilbert? I'm sorry, Tasneem. I've been out of it and I have no comment. I'm sorry. Can you please make a video about the mechanics for pinning and grappling, both wrestling and jiu-jitsu techniques combined? Weight distribution, where to focus the weight, how to maintain the pin pressure. Yeah, I can go into something like that. That's a good idea. I could probably talk a little bit about that. I mean, it's very basic, but it's really important. You got to know how to do that. And maybe I'll stumble on a few ideas that, you guys haven't seen before. That's a great idea. I'll try to do that real soon. Got to keep it in the head. I suggest every dominant out there learn some sort of triangle game from the mount. Yes. Sounds good. I agree. A guy from my morning class watched your ghost escapes against my strong top game. I just changed my position and stay right on him. And then he's like crying or laughing. Yep. Guys, look, the ghost escape is hard for a lot of people. Even my students, even though they learn it from me like directly, most of my students foul it up. You know what they do? They hit the ghost and they get the first part of it great. They get the first part great. And then the guy on top just either runs around the other side or he rips his arm out and he still has control. There's a lot to the ghost escape that has to be invested. But that's true of a lot of techniques, and especially if you're going to fight someone who's either bigger than you or better than you, you're going to it's not going to work no matter what it is. Try to triangle a guy who's bigger or better than you. He's a higher belt level than you. It's not easy to triangle that guy, Kimura that guy, but if you're on the same level or you're a little bit bigger, whatever, it's pretty easy to do those things, pull those things off. And the ghost is no different. So, but I will admit, I'm very honest about technique, and I try to give you guys both sides. Like, it's easy. It's not bad either to destroy moves like of your like when you're going over a technique. That's what I do, and that's what I want. I want my students or anyone to try to expose my weaknesses in my movements. If I can be exposed, then it gives me something to work on and something to improve on. So, and frequently, unfortunately, the ghost escape is not the most perfect thing. Now, of course, the title of my video is "It's Unstoppable," but when I use that kind of language, obviously it's a little clickbaity title, but it's also what I'm trying to say is it's the same thing as saying triangle chokes are unstoppable, right? Which a lot of people feel like they are, man. You get in a triangle choke, you're in trouble. Now there's some guys out there that can get out of them, and if you're better than your opponent, you could probably get out of them. But if I give you somebody who's better than you may not get out of that triangle. So ghost escape is no different. You got to work on the skill. You got to work on the technique. And once you get it down and you really truly understand it, it's a pretty difficult position to deal with. And usually what happens is the top guy just gives up the escape. In some ways, he's got to let you recover guard or escape and separate at some point. So, all right, enough said. I have such a long list of techniques for your videos to try out on people after the lockdown has ended. Cool. Yeah, my day was great. Kimura is a double arm wrist lock. Yep, anti-Antifa. I always get the catch wrestlers getting upset because I don't call it a double wrist lock. So it's called the fly trap. Oh, is that what that move is called? Mouse trap, fly trap. Yeah, crazy funky move. Yeah, they sprawl and spin to the other side. Okay, I'm catching up on some of the earlier things I said. Usually Cotton Turtle. Coach Brian, is your opinion, what kind of grappler does it take to beat Gordon Ryan? Not sure if you follow him. Of course, I follow Gordon Ryan. Um, a decent amount. Um, so uh, Gordon Ryan is really good. If you didn't know, Gordon Ryan. What is it going to take to beat Gordon Ryan, guys? It's going to take another Gordon Ryan esque grappler. He's changing the game. He's forcing people in his weight class to basically get to his level. He's that guy. It's like the runner that first ran the 4 minute mile. Once you get under 4 minutes, all of a sudden now he raised the bar, and then a few more guys come up and they beat the 4 minute mile as well. So we need more people to get good at jiu-jitsu. I mean, he's good. What else can I say? He's a great grappler. Personally, again, I'm not saying anything bad about Gordon Ryan. I love him. But personally, there's 100 Gordon Ryans. If you go from 165, 170 and below, there's 100 Gordon Ryans out there. There's 100 of them. But they just don't weigh 200, 220. They don't weigh that much. So they're not going to beat Gordon. But there's a lot of guys in the lightweights that are as good or better than Gordon Ryan. Again, the big issue is there's just not too many really good big guys. And Gordon Ryan is a really good big guy. I think that's a compliment more than it's a knock, but you can read it however you want. So, Panic, what is your fix here? I guess you're referencing they spin to the other side. So when they spawn spin to the other side, Panic, you underhook, they spin. Again, you cannot stay there. You can try like the Granby stuff. So like when I go there and the guy spins, you can Granby back to guard. That's one option. Again, I'm not real flexible. I usually just sit to one side and I try to recover butterfly guard. I try to get a hook in. Again, if you're late to the party, yeah, you get your back taken, but you shouldn't be late to the party. Hand control, elbows in. Don't let them connect on a seatbelt. Don't let them get you in a gift wrap, things like that. I would love to do a video on that someday. There's so much. I could do videos on all these ideas. If I ever want to get ideas, I just got to talk to you guys and you guys will like ask me a question. Then all of a sudden I go, that's a video right there. How do you deal when you get the underhook and the guy starts to spin around it? Like, what do you do? Like right there. That's a video. Anyway. All right. Let me see. Do you have a video on setting up takedown for MMA? I think I do, guys. I think I have my basic video. I'll teach like jab, cross, hook, and then double leg, and then jab overhand right, and then double leg. So I have both sides. 1, 2, 3, double leg, jab overhand, double leg. There should be a video on that. If there is not, I know I've been doing it lately with my group, so I know it, like I did it. Maybe it was like 3 months ago. So if I didn't do a video, I need to go back and look at it and then do one. But I think I did a basic one. I know I wanted to do more and I never did. So that's more videos. There's always more content to bring you guys. So what would be your idea about sponsoring police officer-based jiu-jitsu? It's a good question. I watch Henner and Hiron. They do such a good job, you guys. They're so involved with helping the officers. Getting a little tired. Helping the officers, learn combat better for their job. It's a really important thing. I teach a lot of cops at my gym, but I'm still kind of just giving them the whole Peterson Grapplers PG kind of system. It's a little bit of grappling mixed with MMA stuff. And I'm not always giving them, except on an individual basis, like really like how to arrest someone or stuff like that. Like stuff that Hiron and Henner are doing, I think is so much better. I would defer to them. Honestly, I think they know their stuff pretty good, and I think they're pretty damn solid. I mean, I'm not trained. I'm not a former police officer, so I don't want to go into something that I don't feel 100% comfortable with. Obviously, I can do certain things. I do show my guys how to take somebody's arm out and, like, kind of hammer lock it out behind their back to arrest. Things like that. I give them ideas. I try not to give them too much where I step out of my boundary, and I try to stay in my lane, because I think too often people don't stay in their lane, and that's one of the issues with the whole world is people don't understand how little they know about stuff they think they know, and they don't. So I try to stick to the stuff I do know. But what would be my idea? Sponsoring, I mean, mm, I think it's really important police officers do jujitsu. That's all I can say. I just don't know if I'm willing to go that far to, like, get into that field, but I definitely think all police officers should be training. I think that it'd be nice if they would give them more than, what is it, the average of like 4 hours a year. I think they give them like 4 hours training a year. It's something as the average. It's ridiculous. Police officers that are out there on the streets should be training on a regular basis 3 days a week. So, at least. So, that's my idea. Grappling is useful with fat and stronger people. Yeah, it helps. But you know what? So is striking. You work on striking. Yeah, I can outstrike most big dudes. Guys, I've done boxing, kickboxing. I'm nothing amazingly special, but if I box or kickbox with a really big dude, most of them go, "Oh shit," and they realize, they go, "Damn, I can't do what I thought I could do with this little guy." So if you get good at something, it works against fat and strong people. so so I suggest listening to inspiring complex jazz to freak out your brain into mode, creative mode. Okay, I'll try it. So, what's the best pre-tournament wine? Oh, okay. Teach me grappling. I can't really. Worry isn't bad. So okay. So now I'm catching up to comments from way back. It's when you force to forget it, it will actually come back. It's like, don't think of a white bear. You will think that. Just let the worry be. Okay, Paula, he's got his own way. Thoughts on wrestling versus jiu-jitsu? Um, they're both great. They're both unique. They're both awesome. Use them both. Learn them both. That's what I got to say. Coach Brian, have you ever convinced someone who quit training to come back? Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've bumped into people, and I'm not that big on that, but just because I don't, I like to let people do what they want. I'm really big into letting people be who they want to be. I will give certain people, I take care of my high school wrestlers a little more than I do my adults, just because they're the youth. Um, I would say that that's a passion for me. My heart is, I like to really try to develop the youth. I feel like all of our society, the children are our future, and we've got to make them good kids. So I do set aside a large part of my heart for them. When it comes to adults, if I run into someone in the say grocery store or something, and I haven't seen them in the gym in a year or two or whatever, and I'm like, "Hey man, you got to come back to training." So sure, I've gotten them to come back. I mean, but I don't try real hard. It's usually just, sometimes people just bump into me and they want to train, and they go, "Oh yeah, that was fun. I remember doing that." And then they see me, and maybe it's a guilt trip. I don't know. They come back, but I wouldn't say I have anything impressive to tell you. So, mm, thanks for the videos, Coach. In this lockdown, I've been studying them to use them in wushu, sanda. Good, cool. Hope it helps. Coach Brian, you're the best. Get Jeff Frater up there for more techniques. Strength and honor MMA. Shaman, yes. Jeff Frater's cool, man. He came all the way down. He ate some barbecue, and showed a really cool move for like half guard, like when you're on top trying to pass, and it was cool. So I'd love to have him back down anytime. Inversions, is the gym still open? Are you in the US? Yes, I'm in the US. How do you get them to choke you harder without going unconscious? Hmm? How do you get them to choke you harder without going unconscious? I think what he means is, how do I not pass out when somebody's choking me? I don't know. Um, like I said, Jedi mind trick. You just stay there and you hold your breath. I'm just joking. No, there's like little technique. There's little ways to hide. You get move your carotid artery to the side and tuck, and sometimes you could just withstand someone's choke by doing that sort of thing. And a lot of times you mind trick them into going. They think, why isn't this guy passing out? I can't choke him. And but good guys know exactly where everything is. A good high level guy will know exactly when he's choking you and when he's not. So anyway, your thoughts on 10th Planet? I think you're better. Well, thank you, Josh Hall, but I think 10th Planet is awesome. So Eddie Bravo was there when I was coming up. We both kind of came up around the same time, and you know, I was winning tournaments. He was winning tournaments. We were in different weight classes, but he's really, really good, man. He's great at what he does, and look at all that he's built with 10th Planet. It's huge, and I'm very proud to say that I consider Eddie like a friend, and I'm proud to say that I got to train with him once, and I feel like 10th Planet's awesome. I mean, look at all the great guys that he's produced. Even kind of like first generation, second generation, third, like via he taught one guy who taught another guy who taught another guy, and they're all so good at jujitsu. So no, I think 10th Planet's doing great things. So nothing to say. We may have different styles, but hey, that's what's beautiful about what we do. So I'm gonna have to call it pretty soon, guys. It's getting pretty late. It's already 11:25. So yeah, conversation skill or conversations kill. I thought I said skill. Maybe it is. I don't know. Conversation skill, or is it conversations kill? I'm with 10th Planet Josh. It's legit, dude. Yes, it is. 100%. So we have 10th Planet guys come in every now and then, and they are very good. Have you ever convinced? Oh, no, same one. So thank you, conversation skill. So how to know if you should switch from BJJ to MMA? How to know if you should switch? Why would you? Well, you should always be doing MMA, guys. Look, if you guys do BJJ and that's all you do, you should be doing MMA sometimes. It's not about switching. You should do both. And even if you don't want to do MMA like a lot, you should do at least a little. Everyone should do a little. I understand that BJJ is a love for a lot of people and they feel comfortable and that's their way of working out, and it's kind of their little video game they get hooked on and they stick to it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful thing. Same with wrestling, same with kickboxing, anything else. Everyone should be playing around with MMA at least to a certain degree. That's your true self-defense. It's the sport that teaches us the most about self-defense. Sure, self-defense is kicking in the balls and scratching and eye gouging and all that stuff too, and biting. But the bulk of effective self-defense movements are going to be found in mixed martial arts, which encompasses everything, right? Mostly everything besides the illegal stuff. So you take MMA, you mix in a little bit of ball squeezing, which I'm not a big fan of, but a little bit of kicking someone in the balls and scratching them, poking eyes, and being aware of those things, headbutts, and so on. And you basically have a well prepared, um, self defense repertoire. So I don't know about switching. So, but if you want to fight, I mean, if you know when to switch, I mean, you should still continue your BJJ. So that's not the right word. But if you feel like you're a blue belt and you like want to go fight, then go train some kickboxing, learn some more wrestling, and get into MMA. But don't stop doing jujitsu. So plug your barbecue business, coach, name, location, catering. Guys, obviously I'm in Valencia. You guys can go to peterson-barbecue.com and place an order if you guys are close by in the LA area. I'm in LA County. Just got to drive down. Everything's for pickup and order. And I'm going to be cooking on Sunday. So food will be done around 2 to 4 p.m. So anyway, guys, thank you guys so much. I know it's getting late and I can't really get to everybody, but I really, really appreciate you guys. What else can I say? It's been a long time since I've done a live. So I wanted to do that, especially like I hate missing videos. It bothers me. So I missed a video tonight. Everybody left and they got out of there before I could do a video. So I thought to myself, I'm driving home tonight and I'm going to do a live. So here I am. And, you know, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'd love to do more. There's so many more videos. I got ideas floating through my head constantly. Just keep yapping, guys. I'm so busy nowadays. I don't even like comment like that much on my videos. But again, I always tell you, I'm always reading the comments. So I feel so bad because sometimes I don't respond. But I want you guys to know I'm hearing what you guys are saying, and it's getting inside. So I do comment sometimes, but rarely. And it's just because the way my life is right now, I'm trying my best to keep up and keep my sanity. You guys know I'm not gonna go crazy, but I what I mean by keep my sanity is it's all about balance in life, guys. If you work too hard and if I go at this YouTube thing for too long, it's not good for your mental game. It's good to get away. It's good to go fishing. I got to go fishing once and just get my mind off of like so much martial arts. And that way I can come back with a new, refreshed mind and ready to get after it again. So I already worked so hard doing it. So it's rough sometimes, I'll admit. And as the older I get, the more I feel that I need my breaks. When I was younger, I felt like I never took breaks, but now I feel like I need my breaks, and I feel like they make me more healthy. So anyway, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. There's more comments that have popped up, and I'm sorry I'm not gonna answer your guys' comments, but maybe next time if you guys get in there a little earlier. Thank you guys, and I'll be back for more with more great stuff. Tomorrow I'll be doing some Kimura stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna do defense or offense. I know I gotta do defense eventually. I got some cool stuff in my mind I want to show you guys, but I also have some offense stuff. Not too advanced, some of it a little bit, but it's gonna be good stuff. I know you guys are gonna like it, and it's gonna make you guys better at grappling. So thank you. See you guys. Have a good night. Take it easy.